In this video, I'm going to explain to you how I use this specific CV personal summary strategy to secure job offers at Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley and HSBC. So stay tuned to learn more. As you can see on your screen right now, I use this to secure job offers at HSBC, Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley, and secure interviews at many of these other top banks and hedge funds on your screen right now, and I've helped my clients do the same. And if you're interested, reach out to me to learn more. Here's my Goldman Sachs job offer, my JP Morgan job interview emails, and then we also have Citi and Credit Suisse. And this is just a quick overview of how this strategy can work successfully for you when it comes to getting these top type of job interviews. So let's stay tuned and let's learn a bit more. So what am I referring to here? How do you secure the attention of top hiring managers and recruiters within 7 seconds when you want to apply to work at top banks and top finance companies? So what I'm referring to is the top part of your CV you can see on your screen right now. It's that summary section where you'd summarize your top skills, achievements, and next career goals. So it's a bit of a summary and a bit of a blurb, as you can take it like a bit of a book summary, but a summary to you that you put at the top of your CV. So it's worthwhile considering what's there, because typically, from my experience working at major trading floor of Goldman Sachs, trading floor of Morgan Stanley, typically managing directors, they're extremely busy doing many tasks and they only have a bit of time to read your CV. And typically, if you can impress them in that early part of your CV, you'll be invited for a job interview. They might not read all of your CV, but you really need to pay attention to what I'll say here to improve that top part of your CV. So what exactly should you include in your CV profile summary? You should mention some of your top skills, right? Your top 3 unique selling points, your USPs. So your relevant experience, some technical skills, some academic background that is relevant to the job you're applying for, and your future career goals that show you have a clear trajectory and you're ambitious and you're focused on achievement and getting the next job that you're applying for. So here's a good example that we can take from, just to follow through on this. So in this example, and this is loosely based, it's an example, but it's loosely based on my CV. As I say, it worked successfully at Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, HSBC, securing job offers there and interviews for companies like JP Morgan. So let's talk through this. Here we have an example of Juan Garcia. He has worked at JP Morgan and he's applying for a new role in sales. So let's look at his profile summary and see how it works quite well. He said he's a client-focused finance professional with relevant experience at JP Morgan sales division, with a strong academic background in accounting and finance, additional sales experience in the electric vehicle industry, and marketing experience as a university ambassador recruiting international students. He's currently seeking a hedge fund role focused on pursuing new sales leads and maximizing client revenue. So this is a great example because it shows what I was trying to explain in that previous slide. Firstly, it mentions specific skills they have and working at high profile firms. So these are all the type of things you should mention at the top of your CV. Being client focused is a good skill set for a salesperson. Working at a top bank like JP Morgan is also important to state in your previous experience. Mentioning you have done a degree in accounting and finance is quite good to say because it's showing not only do you have the soft skills, the people skills of working with clients, but also you have the ability to effectively do technical skills, which would be accounting and finance. So you have sales skills, people skills, and technical analytical skills. You also mentioned you have sales experience across a variety of different industries, not just finance. So you have a proven track record of being able to adapt to different markets, which would be good in finance. So you can be sales, whether it's in sales and trading, asset management sales, commodity sales, bond sales. You can do a variety of things. You'll also have experience doing marketing at university. So it's all about creating a rounded image of you and presenting the right picture of you, that you have good, essentially mainly sales skills, client focus, working at JP Morgan, marketing experience, which is similar to sales, and some of the more technical skills like accounting and finance in your degree. Then they finish off with a simple sentence saying what they're looking for next. They're currently seeking a hedge fund role focused on pursuing new sales leads and maximizing client revenue. Now, why is that good? Because what they're saying in a nice way here is that, listen, I'm someone who has the ability to get the work done at a very efficient level in terms of working at other major banks. But also what I have here is I'm seeking a hedge fund role focused on new sales leads. I know where I want to take my career, what direction I want to take my career in. I don't just want to stay at major banks like JP Morgan. I'm focused on hedge funds. I have an interest in working there. I want to help the company that I'm working for pursue new sales leads and maximize client revenue. So it shows a clear goal and a clear benefit you want to provide for the company you're applying for. So that's something that's quite important, and it shows your ambition and your focus on achievement. Now, in your CV profile, here are 3 ideas of what you could include, right? Firstly, you should focus on unique skills. So even if you have a unique skill that might not seem like a finance type of skill, maybe you've worked with international teams, or you can work with international teams moving forward because you have multiple foreign languages that you understand. Perhaps you're coming from a Spanish background and you can speak Spanish and English, or Mandarin, French, German. These are all good, unique skills that you have that you should mention at the top of your CV, at that CV profile summary, because they help you stand out. Because a hiring manager might think, okay, not only is this guy got the finance background, which many other people will have, but also they have the ability to speak in foreign languages, which is another skill to help you deal with a specific type of client. So that's a good thing to consider. Then also, if you're looking at words of how to describe yourself, think about how your team members, or in your annual performance feedback, how you'd be described. Would you be called hardworking, innovative, team player? These are all kind of key skills that will really help you stand out. And just think about, if you're looking for the positive ways of describing yourself, just like, as I say, think about positive feedback you've received. Have your team members or your managers described you as hardworking, innovative, a team player? How have they described you, and how could you add those type of wordings and buzzwords to your CV profile summary? What excites you about your next career move? So that's another thing you can mention. So that's the last sentence typically of your CV profile summary. You should talk about, well, I've worked in a particular type of finance activity. I want to do more of the same and grow my focus on that particular area and developed in-depth knowledge and become a subject matter expert. Or it could be more, I want to pivot to something similar but slightly different, as we saw in that example, going from sales and trading in an investment bank to working in sales and hedge funds. It's slightly different, but it shows that, you know, you've got a clear focus of developing a well-rounded skill and not just staying in the same area, and you know exactly when you want to go next. So it could be you want to work with maybe a new area of onboarding new clients, helping the company's growth plans. As you can see, just try to really frame it as the way you want to move forward in your career is to benefit yourself, but also to benefit the company you're working for. So we have a second example here. So Oliver Sherman, they have studied at UCL and they've got 1 year experience at Accenture, and they want to work in finance and tech industry roles, right? So currently seeking a full-time management consultancy role as a recent UCL graduate. So they stand out by mentioning going to a top university in the UK, which is UCL. So if you've been to a top university, definitely mention that in your CV summary. It'll help you stand out at the top of your CV. And then they mentioned they have 1 year's experience at Accenture, and that's a major management consultancy. So if they want to work for a similar management consultancy, it's good they have that background of a top company. They have mentioned some of their skills: business restructuring, analytical skills, strategic organizational skills, working for client companies across finance and tech. So again, they're showing not only do I have a strong educational background at UCL, some experience at Accenture, but also they know where they want to go next and where that would be similar to what they've done. They've got quite niche subject matter expertise in working in finance and tech industry management consultancy roles, and they're interested in doing more of the same. So that's a good example to consider. And you can see here it's just 3 lines, but those 3 lines, as I say, if a hiring manager at a major bank like Goldman Sachs or Morgan Stanley, where I've worked, they only got 7 seconds to quickly scan 1 or 2 CVs. They might go through your CV and look at the first 3 lines and decide whether to invite you for an interview or not. So really try to look through things like that and think carefully whether someone is a good fit based on what you can see here, right? 3 sentences could be the difference between you getting invited for a job interview or not. So bear that in mind. So as you can see here, right, these successful strategy here just to impress hiring managers within the first few seconds of them reading your CV is quite important. It's worked successfully for me to secure job offers at some of the banks on your screen right now, and also securing many interviews across these other hedge funds, private equity firms, management consultancies, and so on. So just to finish up here, just to conclude, how can you secure a top banking job in 7 seconds? What you need to do is impress the hiring manager by having a strong CV and impressing them at the top part of your CV so they can quickly read it and invite you for an interview. So that would be the top personal summary section of your CV. In 3 to 4 sentences, focus on your skills, achievements, your next career goals. Talk about your unique selling points, whether that's working some of your relevant experience, working in similar banks, having some technical experience, your academic background, your career goals, some of your ideas that you could use there. Some of the ideas you could use there would be mentioning your top unique skills. Maybe you speak different languages that are relevant to the industry you're working in. How co-workers would describe you will give you some keywords to use to how to describe yourself on your CV. And then also your next career move. Think about what type of motivation you have there, what your path is looking like, your career trajectory. These are the type of things you can mention that'll help you stand out and differentiate yourself from other people who are sending their CV through to apply for these job opportunities. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next video. There are 2 recommended videos on your screen right now, a free ebook in the description, and leave a comment if you have any questions, and I'll see you next time.